Okay, this question's about, for a raw bencher, should you do singles or triples? I think a raw bencher should still do singles for most of their ME work. The exception to that would be if you're doing something that's partial range of motion, like a 3-board because you're weak at lockout, or a 4-board. I think then you should use sets of 3, because the idea is you want to mimic the time under tension of a full range press. And then if you feel you don't get enough volume going singles, which is an issue for some people that are more beginner to intermediate lifters, a good thing to do is go up to your single and then drop down to 80–85% and try to hit 3 triples at that weight. That way you can get in some volume afterwards, but you still get to push yourself on the max effort movement. If you do triples all the way up, going up to your max, my worry there is you're not going to really get to max, and you're not going to push yourself and condition your CNS to handle heavier weights faster. Okay, this question's on how tight should your briefs or suit be just for training, use it for hip protection. The question's on Titan gear. I would go with the regular fit, a little bit on the looser side if your main goal is protection, because you don't want something that's tight enough where you have to load up more weight than you want to be able to get depth. This question's on how tight should metal pro briefs be. If you're competing 2-ply, the rule of thumb I heard quite a while ago was you should be able to get depth with 60% of your competition max in just your briefs. A lot of times that means what you'll have is one looser pair of briefs for training, and then you'll want a tighter pair of briefs for competition.
Okay, this question's about whether we do any higher rep ranges, hypertrophy range type exercises. And for our main barbell movement and usually our second barbell movement, no, we don't. We use 3 to 5 sets of 5 for our second barbell movement. But for all of our accessory work, we tend to go up to higher reps. Most of us use between 8 and 12 reps for our accessories, lat pull downs, tricep extensions, that kind of stuff. Or, sometimes we'll even go up 15, 20 reps, like for Dimmel deadlifts where you do 2 sets of 20. It really depends on the exercise and making sure that you're not overloading yourself with high rep barbell movements. But yes, we do use higher rep ranges.
Alright, this question's about the GHR and how to use it, how to set it up. The length that you want to be back is basically you want to be able to have your leg on the front of the pad. That's why the pad's rounded. And the question too is about how do you not fall through. The key is when you come up, you want to drive your toes into the toe plate, because that driving your toes into the toe plate will push you into the pad, and that'll keep you up. Because if you're not driving your toes, you will fall and slip. So the key is when you come up, drive toes into the toe plate. Alright, this question is about if you're doing a planned program and your program calls for you to do two reps at a set weight, you only get 1 rep. What do you do the next week? Do you repeat that, or do you move on to what the next week's supposed to be? This is one reason I don't like linear periodization, because there's around 150 different factors that affect strength. Things like, did you eat enough that day? Are you hydrated well enough? Are you sleeping? Do you have a lot of external stress in your life? So it's really hard to know. Like if you know it was just an off day because you didn't sleep well, you didn't eat very much food, I would just move on. If you find yourself missing weights 2–3 weeks in a row, then you definitely need to take a step back, and either you were too ambitious about your goal weight for the end of the training cycle, or you're just simply overtrained. You need to kind of back off for a week and then pick it back up. Alright, this question's about how to use bands when you squat. So if you have 2 dumbbells, if you're doing it with round dumbbells, I'd put like a 10 on each side or something to keep the dumbbells from rolling. But we won't worry about that here. The idea is you want to choke it and then lift it up, and then you'd put it around the bar. You want to make sure you have enough dumbbell weight. And the reason why I use 2 dumbbells is the band should have about 60% of its tension when you're in the hole, and this will still be tight when you're in the hole. If you only choke it around 1 dumbbell, that's slack right there. And that's going to suck because you're not going to get the proper training effect for bands. As for which band to use, the rule of thumb I would use is the band tension at the top should be about 25% of your max squat, so you can go on Elite and figure out which band you should use. Purples, the way we hook them a little bit bigger diameter, are about 100. Greens are about 160, and blues are about 240. All right, this question is about extra workouts. Some people do. Becky does quite a bit of them because she does CrossFit and running and stuff. She uses it as a way to maintain her weight class while training. I used to do a lot of them when the gym was in my garage because it was really convenient. I don't as much anymore. And key if you do an extra workout is you want to keep it very, very light because you don't want to accumulate more stress on your muscles. It's more to increase blood flow to your muscles and help recovery.